What's good, y'all? Blacksmith here, and today we're here to talk about Terrifier 3. As the name implies, this is the third movie in the Terrifier franchise, and while the first two movies were pretty much cut and dry slashers, this one comes in as a Christmas-themed slasher. So this time around, we see the infamous Art the Clown running around the city doing what he does best during the holidays. And ever since the release of Terrifier 2 and the first announcement of Terrifier 3, we've all been waiting to see how this was going to turn out. So, did Terrifier 3 deliver, or did it fall into the infamous movie trilogy slump? Let's talk about it. Taking place 5 years after the ending of Terrifier 2, this movie follows main character Sienna Shaw as she tries to acclimate herself to public life again after fighting off Art the Clown. While on the flip side, this movie also follows Art the Clown and his accomplice Victoria Hayes from the first Terrifier movie as they search for Sienna Shaw to finish her off and everyone that she loves. While he's searching for her, as per usual when it comes to Art the Clown, so much mayhem and chaos ensues. Now, let's get into these pros and cons. The first pro I want to talk about, the story. Damien Leone, who wrote all the stories for the Terrifier movies, did a fantastic job in giving us answers to questions that we had from Terrifier 2. Because while the first movie was based mostly on the shock factor from Art the Clown, the second movie did focus on more of a storyline, while this movie gave us a balance between shock factor and having a good story. He also did a great job at integrating Victoria Hayes' character from the first Terrifier movie into Art the Clown's motive. The second and probably most obvious pro I want to talk about, the violence. Now, there's not much I can say when it comes to the violence if you've seen any of the Terrifier movies, and if you haven't, the only thing I can say is that you should not have a weak stomach when watching these movies. Terrifier 3 holds nothing back, and as we usually know, everybody can get it from Art the Clown, but this time when you incorporate children into the mix, it gets a little bit deeper and a little bit more terrifying, but I mean, that's the point, right? So all I gotta say is be prepared for that. The last pro I want to talk about, the cinematography. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Terrifier franchise, the first movie, which was shot in 2016, was made with a very low budget. After doing a bit of research, I found out that on the low end, the first Terrifier movie was made with about $35,000, and it actually looked like it too. The second movie was made with about $250,000 budget, and it looked beautiful, and they did everything that they could to stretch that money out to make one of the best horror movies I saw that year in 2022. Now, Terrifier 3 is a completely different monster because this movie was reportedly shot with a $2 million budget, and this time they made that money stretch. And I bring up the budget information because that does affect how a movie could look and be presented. And even with a $2 million budget this time around, they were able to still keep the feel of it being shot on a low budget, but still giving us high quality performances. For $2 million, this movie looked great, and it looked like it could have stood up with anything that was shot with 10, 20 million even. So they were able to keep the low budget quality look, but also give it an upgrade at the same time. Now, let's talk about some cons. The first con I want to talk about, the acting. Historically, I know that the cast of the Terrifier movies have mostly been unknown actors. But some of the new actors in this movie were not really that good to look at, and they didn't necessarily give believable performances. Now, the returning cast from Terrifier 2, they knew the assignment, they came in and did what they were supposed to do. They did a good job. But a lot of the new actors in this movie, they just were kind of cheesy and corny, and they just weren't believable, and I didn't like a lot of their performances. The last and probably major con I want to talk about is the delivery of Art the Clown. Now, I know you're probably thinking, what the hell do you mean, Blacksmith? We already know who Art the Clown is, but bear with me for a minute and let me explain. Like I said before, the first Terrifier movie was more based on the shock factor that Art the Clown gave us, while the second one was more of a mix between a good story and finding out more about Art the Clown and his motives, and also the violence that he gave in the second one. While this movie gave us little bits and pieces about who Art the Clown is as a character, every single piece of mayhem that he did and all the murderous things that he did started to become a little bit generic. Art the Clown did a lot of trope killings in this movie, and I'm not going to explain what they were. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you go see it, you'll look at some of these kills and think to yourself, I've seen this before. There also came a part in the movie where, as I'm watching it, I thought to myself, you know, if I was Art the Clown, I would do this next. And to my surprise, he did it. And while it was humorous to watch, after I saw this movie, I thought to myself, where can he go from here? Because I know I'm not the only one who, if I can predict what Art the Clown may do next, then there's very little room for him to grow as a character anymore. Terrifier 1 and 2 had Art the Clown doing so many murderous and crazy things to people that by the time the ending of Terrifier 3 came around, I just had a thought of that the Terrifier 4 may not be able to take Art the Clown further than this. So in my opinion, his actions in this movie became a little bit generic and predictable to me because he's already done so much already. And Art the Clown doing slasher tropes really wasn't a good look because he was built up to be better and different than that. And Terrifier 4 is reportedly under development and supposed to be the final movie in this franchise as of the making of this video. So I guess we're just gonna have to see where they take Art the Clown from here. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. Gave us the classic Terrifier feel with new characters, new thrills, and it's definitely gonna be a staple movie for Halloween season and the holiday season. Thanks for checking out my review. Let me know if you plan on seeing this movie. Let me know if you've already seen it and what you thought about it. Let me know what you thought about my review and give this video a like and your boy a follow. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, peace.